Hi, I'm Stephen Leake. Tonight I'm reading the final installment of Light Through the Pines, my poetry collection. These are available at Amazon.com and wherever books are sold. I still have not yet got them into public libraries. I'm working with Monarch Literary on making that happen. This collection was published in 2022, right in the middle of the pandemic. It was when I wrote most of these. There are some poems in this collection that were written prior to that and are featured in Naked Shadowboxing, which is out of print, my first collection. But Monarch Literary is going to put out Naked Shadowboxing and this out of print Light Through the Pines in tandem with my new collection coming out Christmas, Truth is Power. So be on the lookout for that. You can find all of this at StephenLeake.com or MonarchLiterary.com. And before we start, I've got to light one up. I know this shit's going to kill me one day, but such is the price we pay. I've got my handy dandy pink lighter. It's just a reminder to me to be the freak that I am. You know, there's a statistic that 85% of poets have a mental illness of some kind. And I'm no damn different. I've struggled with bipolar disorder since I was about 17, 18. And also addiction. Every day I take methadone as a part of medically assisted treatment for opioid addiction. And I'm one of millions of Americans who struggle with that. So, and I've lost a partner and girlfriend to addiction 2 years ago, May 20th, Amanda Isabella. So this is dedicated to her. I think we're picking up on page 80. I've got my public library bookmark. And don't pay for a bookmark. Just get them from your library. If you ever are hard on your luck and need computer access or a printer or someone to help you with a resume or anything like that, go to your library. I've dated librarians. They're awesome people. They're attack lawyers. And or attack librarians or lawyers, I should say. But librarians are good people and they serve the public and are taxpayer funded, so use the library and get your money's worth out of your taxes if you need them. You can also just go for fun. It's a great place to engage with the community. And whenever my printer is out of toner because I just burned through ink and toner for my business, I'm always at my local library getting shit done. Her, the most sublime creature, spinning towards the depths of her own being. In a black and white montage, she fills the days with kindergarten laughter, with wonder and joy, a flowing curiosity of the magic of free will and sunshine. Lost. Come with me if you are lost. We can walk to the ends of the earth, not knowing to change with the times. Harassing paper to live in the civilized world, outshining the day and upsetting the balance of day-to-day suffering. Amen, brother. I'm exhausted, apologizing for history and justifying my existence to the penny. Navigating, never letting the moment pass peacefully, but fighting mass-produced culture that strengthens the call of the void. I live with her in a seaside town on the edge of reality, broke and happy, enough to keep watching the moon in awe of this experience, with you by my side, sitting on the beach, singing and laughing in a sensory adventure as the stars begin to rain from a fiery sky. Flashes of photographs, scenes of the sublime carnage, your iris searching mine in an ancient repose. Lightning bugs in summer, being bored with you in bed at the end of the day before sleep. We share rapturous revelations in an intertwined rite, searing a new memory into being, a well of creation. Ideas flow back and forth on gossamer wind to catch each lightning bug and keep it in a jar, only to release it back into the mystery, summoning the collective unconscious to take to the streets with our pictures, streamers, and a marching band, rioting that we were the true blue salt of the earth, deferential to the last, sitting in a Denny's with a colostomy bag and a wad of cash, living off motel coffee and vending machines, celebrating life in the jukebox of some shady diner. IQ-lusion. A comfortable home is an abstract longing I chase at all costs. Through time, this warm white light has overtaken days of hunger, propelling me always into the future, a growing creature soaking in the excitement of endless tomorrows, yet something radiates, something flows, a broadcast of the spirit teases our mortality. On page 87, In Our Time, which is also the name of a Hemingway novella. Humanity is a gift, soft machines, a spiritual animal of impeccable design, thrown into existence with nothing but his wits and the stars in all seasons. An inspiration to push further, we must create a better world at all costs and unleash the kingdom within, hacking into the elusive sublime that stands alone as our very birthright, to create the garden again, every day a second chance, to prove our mettle to the heavens and fulfill every need in our time, to do right by the beggar and the damned, the saved and searching, of one mind, reaching out to the sky. Rockets. The audacity of our inspired ambitions to tune in to the unknown cannot be matched in the universe. Every day a jarred paradigm in the fabric of being, exposing a naked barbarism, a character of not quite conquering fear, lashing out at God with rockets. And on page 89, Just for Me. It isn't made to last, this struggle, to break through to comfort and revelation by quirks of chance, getting paid to put down an awakening in the love and abuse of day-to-day longing, for wars of change hanging over ever-present promises. Pay to live. Paying to live day by day to make it to a reprieve from the encroaching cable news in a state of grace. You fill my hands with curves and rebirth, an outburst of youth in defiance of nature. We spin out and collapse in waves of brilliance, a direct link to the divine. We celebrate in blasphemous romps until the weekday comes with political theater and artificial scarcity. On page 91, interdimensional motion pictures. There's a secret hidden here in this closet full of junk, a half-forgotten memory that holds the keys to brand new realms, of an in-progress self, reflections and projections of frames of an identity, struggling to be born out of the tangled heap of the past. This is the last poem on page 92. Dirty hands. no master but the stars. How long do I have to lug this body around and smile? A Ronin on a tour of goodbyes, teaching the sensitive not to be afraid. That it's all a show. You're allowed to manifest, to chase whatever magic you find, to be present and feel each second with muscle memory, to wander and absorb, sacrificing comfort for the joy of the unknown. That's Light Through the Pines. Thanks for being here with me and sharing that. That book took the entire pandemic and a little bit after to write and produce. And it is my best work published to date. It represents a venture into the realm of professionalism, the realm of the professional with me. I experienced a period of intense productivity over going into and during the pandemic and going in a little bit afterwards. And all of that happened because I had a relationship with an amazing woman, Allison, whose last name will go unsaid on here. But she was a lawyer. And she stripped her way through law school. And was also a phone sex operator for a while. And paid good money, so she says. I love complicated people like that. Those are my kind. Allison and I were really kindred spirits, but she kind of thought I was a big loser, and would never let me around her family or friends really. And although we started as genuine lovers with a official relationship, and I lived with her in Socastee, Myrtle Beach area, I soon kind of fell back into old habits of not being able to function that well due to my mental illness. And she kind of dumped me, but still kept me on as a lover, and kind of secret lover, which was fine by me, as I'm an adult, and it was perfectly consensual and fine by me. We got each other through the pandemic in that manner, and that book is dedicated to her. I was her rock and she was mine, and I've always had amazing women in my life. And Allison, just like Amanda Sabella from Charleston, was no different. She was brilliant, and although we all struggle with our personal idiosyncrasies, was successful in her own right. She was a successful lawyer and didn't give herself enough credit. She always wanted kids, was never really in a position to have them. A lot of people with bipolar disorder second guess themselves about being good parents, and a lot of them choose not to have kids, myself included. Although there's nothing really I'd rather be and have than have a normal life with a family of my own. But I don't think it's going to happen. I was kind of built and meant to just fight and create, and I'm down for that destiny, that reality. If you're watching this and you've made it to this fourth chapter of Light Through the Pines, then I'm assuming you like my stuff. And if you do, consider a donation at StephenLeake.com, where you can find all of my projects and albums, music albums, and books, novels, poetry collections in either audiobook or ebook format for free. And my links to my podcast, Musings of a Cigarette Smoking Man, which is on Spotify and wherever you get your podcasts. And I also have an AI agent, a bot that I created. That's kind of a copy of myself, an avatar of myself that I programmed with a knowledge base of the best works of Western literature and writing textbooks, and my own first draft of my novel Gethsemane, which I used to help me write an outline that I'm using right now as I edit Gethsemane. You can check out my novel, my first draft of Gethsemane, on StephenLeake.com, as I've said. And it'll give you a little window into the life I lived with Robert McFarlane and Amanda Isabella in Charleston from 2013 to 2015. It was a romping good time, but a time of hardcore addiction and like really stringent hours and hard physical labor. And I've always mixed my pleasure with work. I chose a life in the food and bev industry because my poetry professor at Winthrop, which I am repping today, told me of a Buddhist meditation principle in which keeping your hands busy with repetitive work frees up your subconscious to focus on creative tasks and creative thinking. And so she told me, my professor, to go get a food and service job in a big hospitality city, and it worked out for me, and I got a good book out of it. And I've been able to go all around the world and work in restaurants and support myself as I have adventures with my friends and meet new people. It's been amazing. My kind of MO is that I will go on an adventure for a year or two and work in a restaurant anywhere in the country or anywhere in the world, really, and work as a dishwasher or cook and support myself that way and meet new people and have adventures. And then I'll come home to my family farm in York, South Carolina, and I'll take a few years to write about my experiences and get it published, usually through my own company, Monarch Literary, and that will fund my next round of adventures, and it's worked out for me so far. I'm back home in York, Rock Hill, South Carolina, and all my friends are back home from their various jobs and careers and shit, and we're all in kind of getting into the second chapter of our lives here. And I came back home about 3 years ago from Myrtle Beach, where I was living after Charleston. I lived at Myrtle Beach after Charleston for about 10 years, around the Myrtle Beach area, Sunset Beach, Ocean Isle, Calabash area, with my mother. And if it wasn't for my family, I couldn't do this. And they supported me, and it gave me time to develop my craft even further, and was where I wrote Light Through the Pines. And then we moved back home to my family farm in York. I've gotten to reconnect with my old high school buddies and teammates from baseball and stuff. It's been awesome. I've really enjoyed getting back to my roots, and I'm working with some guys that I know from school and are from the area on new projects and new businesses that we've started. And it's been hella fun. Monarch Literary was my baby, my first company, and we're putting out the poetry of another guy named Don Stabler, who's a personal friend of mine I've known for probably over a decade, if not longer, and was with me in my early stages of my career and early voice of support. We're putting his stuff out. He's a character, and I will warn you now, like, he's out there. That's the kind of voice I like to promote. And if you check out Monarch Literary, we're developing a page for him as we start to put his work together, and it's coalescing into a tangible, physical paperback book. It'll be out with my other work, my new work, Truth is Power, around Christmas. So look for us and keep up with Monarch Literary or StephenLeake.com, and we're going to get Donald Stabler, my Canadian poet friend, who I'm putting out, a website of his own and links to his work on Monarch and a site of his own coming up. But I'm on kind of a shoestring budget, and my means are spread across almost like half a dozen different companies. So if you are looking for a company to invest in and have libertarian leanings or conservative values and are constitutionalists, check out monarchholdingsinternational.com. I created that company to manage and own all of my creative endeavors, and we're in a really exciting period of growth right now, and are actively taking solicitations for investors and partners. We're a Nevada registered S corporation. We can only have 100 shareholders, which we did on purpose, so we could have a core group of dedicated investors and visionaries for this project. And if you've got money to throw around and are looking for a good cause, check us out. Poetry has been my salvation to a large extent, along with music and stuff, and creative stuff. I always advocate for journaling, which is kind of how I got into this, and also playing music. I had a band in high school called Johnny Slacker, and we have a demo album of 4 songs that's out on Spotify from I dug up it from in the closet a couple years ago. It had almost been lost to history, and it's our acoustic stuff of Johnny Slacker when we were first starting out. And Albert Strawn was our singer and songwriter, and Jonathan Blackwell was our main guitarist. He was a wizard, Jonathan, on guitar, and me as a drummer and him as a guitarist had mad chemistry. And I hate that our electric stuff got lost, but we do have some acoustic stuff you can check out at Johnny Slacker on Spotify. My life has been kind of leading up to this present moment, and I've just sold my first album to the public on Bandcamp.com, where I have my album Love Kills, the electric album, and the other album Truth is Power, the acoustic part of that double album. And I just got my first sale, and I'm going to celebrate that tonight. I hope you'd enjoy my poetry. Poetry is my main thing. It's what I'm best at. I have other talents and projects going on, but poetry is my first love and my true mistress. And has led me on an amazing, fun life, and I owe it a lot. I have a course. If you're interested in writing poetry yourself, I teach a course that I developed that's linked in my website, StephenLeake.com, and it's $20. And if you really need it and really are really interested, I can get you a coupon to knock some of that price down. But it's only even with a coupon, it's only going to be $5-10. It is worth it, if I do say so myself. Everybody needs a creative outlet. It's good for you, if nothing else. And it will give you an excuse to relax and try something new. It's at teachable.com, writing poetry with Stephen Leake, or you can get it through my website, StephenLeake.com. It's a course on my personal creative process that has given me, at least, repeatable results. I have over 750 poems that are on allpoetry.com that I've been posting to that site since 2005 regularly. I have, like I said, 750 poems, and you can watch and read my development as a poet and writer in almost real time if you follow me on allpoetry.com under LIQSUNSHINE. Liquid Sunshine is my username there, and I've posted regularly for 20 years. And if you like my work on All Poetry, consider buying one of my paperback or ebook of my poetry collections, which more coming out Christmas. Again, thank you for being with me as I read my stuff. I'm going to connect this series to what I'm going to do in the future is do another 4-part series on Truth is Power, my new collection. We'll be reading from it as soon as it's available in paperback. And I will get probably a galley copy of that coming up soon with the next month or two. So be on the lookout. Thanks for hanging out with me. It's been so much fun and like a dream come true for me. And you're a part of that. Nobody tells me what to think or say. No one influences my thinking except you, the audience and customer, and like maybe my family and personal friends and stuff. I'm not beholden to anyone. I don't have any debt. The only way I make money is I get a supplemental amount from disability, and then I make my money, the rest of the main bulk of my income from my creative endeavors. So I'm honest, and what I say is an authentic and genuine expression. And thank you for being with me. I hope you enjoyed it. It's been fun for me. I'm Stephen Leake. We're going to win. Thanks for hanging out with me.